Some Nigerians have given Pastor Paul Enenche 72 hours to apologize to this woman.
From my father's side and my mother's side, nobody's a graduate.
Apologize. 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 Apologize.
Before I came to this Dunamis, there's a lot of things that is happening in my life and my family. From my father's side and my mother's side.
They're calling on the pastor to apologize to the woman for shaming her publicly, for embarrassing her publicly in his church. Since the video came out and went viral, Nigerians have gotten so emotional over the matter, just calling on the pastor to apologize and apologize that the woman was saying the truth, yet you came to shame her, you came to disgrace her. But let us look at this situation, the scenario critically. Let us look at it critically. It's important because there's a lot to learn from it, from the pastor's side and from the woman's side. Yes. Stay in one corner. How can you have two hats on? Doesn't even fit. Doesn't even fit. Sorry. Let's look at this matter critically. The woman came to testify about coming from a family where people drop out at primary school and all of that. They don't extend their education and all of that.
From my father's side and my mother's side, nobody's a graduate.
And then now she's proud to be the first person to not just go through primary, secondary, but up to university level, the first in her family. And then she was talking about personal struggles and all of that. And while she was there, the pastor shut her up.
Medicine is MBBS.
BSc, sir. BSc in law, sir.
So the testimony is a lie. There is nothing like BSc in law. You either have LLB or BL. It's a lie. The testimony is a lie. Please go back to your seat.
And the pastor accused her of lying because she said that she graduated with a BSc in law instead of an LLB or an LB. And the pastor was also not comfortable with the fact that someone who claims to be a lawyer cannot express herself through English language fluently. I mean, she wasn't fluent with English. We're not going to lie to ourselves. Evidence has come out now that the woman wasn't lying that she just graduated from studying law in NOUN University, Abuja. I mean, the evidence is there. You look at the list of graduates, you see her name there. That's her name there, Anyim Vera. She actually went to the school, she graduated with an LLB and not a BSc. Now the question is, was Pastor Enenche wrong in his approach while dealing with this woman on this particular day? Was he wrong? The answer is yes. How was he wrong? He was too hasty to send the woman away. Come on, listen to the woman's story. You're coming from a place of pain, shame, and all of that, and now you're the first to scale through something. At least she deserves some little listening ear and all of that. You know, a little bit of patience. What would Jesus do if he was in your position, or if you were in his position, Pastor? What would Jesus do? Jesus wouldn't have just hushed her and kicked her out of the stage. I went to this woman's page and discovered that she's a serving police officer. Apart from that, she's a strong Christian. Some call her pastor. You can see pastor there. This was on her birthday sometime last year. She's been addressed as pastor here, and she's been addressed as prophetess here, you can see. And you can see her other social media posts. She's always talking about Jesus Christ and all of that. Hey, yeah, she is even sharing Dunamis Church, which is Pastor Paul Enenche's church program. This is the same woman sharing it. So clearly from her social media page, you can tell that this woman is deeply connected to Christ, and you can tell that this woman is looking up to Pastor Paul Enenche. He's like a big role model to her. You cannot hide that if you visit her page. This woman is in love with Dunamis Church and Dunamis ministry and all of that. That's a fact. Now, was Pastor Paul Enenche's anger justifiable? First, I must say that people come these days to church to give fake testimonies, just to like blackmail the church to give them money. There's so many things that are going on. So many crazy things are going on now. People come to do fake stuff to blackmail the church. And at the end of the day, these bloggers, these content creators will take advantage of such videos that are released and use it to mock the pastor. So you can tell that that was where Pastor Paul Enenche was coming from. He was trying to protect his personality. He was trying to protect the name of his church, the name of his ministry in the hands of such fraudsters. And when someone who says that you've spent 5 years studying law, more than 5 years, I would say, studying law, and you cannot tell the difference between LLB and BSc, which is the title you're going to hold after studying law, the title that's going to be attached to your name, your personality, and you cannot remember it. It gives the pastor a justifiable reason to suspect that you're fake. Let's not blame Pastor Paul Enenche for suspecting or believing that she's fake. However, where Nigerians don't agree with Pastor Paul Enenche is how he dismissed her. He didn't just dismiss her, he shamed her on stage. Somebody that has struggled over the years to get an education, and you're concerned about how she was speaking her English. The law profession requires that you be fluent in spoken English, but it is not compulsory as a lawyer to be that fluent in English language. If you know the rules, you know the laws, you know what the section says, what this part of the law says, and all of that, you can successfully be a lawyer. There are so many lawyers who cannot express themselves using the right tenses when speaking English, but these lawyers are excellent in court. I have seen, we have them everywhere. We have lots of them. They are not the famous ones we see on TV and all of that, but they exist. So one criteria, even when I went through NOUN University's website, one of the criteria for studying law is average intelligence. It was written there, average intelligence. Average intelligence is just be in the middle. You don't have to be excellent. And again, English language is not our language. However, in a law profession, it is required. Now, let's come to this. Lots of people said that, okay, you people are defending her. Yes, she went through a lot, this and that and that. If you are in trouble, would you call this lady to come and defend you in court? Everybody kept silent. No, if you are in trouble, would you call on this lady to come and defend you in court? Personally, to be honest, I will not call on such a person to come and defend me in court, because she probably went to study law because, you know, life, stress and all of that. She just wanted to add something to her personality, just to accomplish something and not to really practice it. It's my personal belief on why she went to study law. I don't think she's well-grounded enough to be able to stand head to head, shoulder to shoulder with other lawyers out there that are so fluent, that are so eloquent, that knows the in and out of the legal practice. I don't think so. And that was what Pastor Paul Enenche saw, like, no, this person is not it at all. And then coupled with people coming to give fake testimonies and all of that to manipulate the church, to create content for people outside to be mocking pastors and all of that, you know, that was why he reacted that way. I'm not justifying it. I mean, he broke the lady's heart. He would have been patient enough. There was something that was obvious that Pastor Paul Enenche did not see. The lady was having some stage fright. Dunamis is a big church. Dunamis is one of the biggest churches in Nigeria as a country. With that massive crowd and all of that, with her role model sitting in front, I mean, come on, she had every reason to be jittery. She had every reason to be worried, to be stuttering and all of that, to even forget things that she's supposed to say. I mean, it was obvious that she had stage fright. There was this thing just wrapped around her, and you could tell it was stage fright. I mean, Pastor Paul Enenche ought to have seen that in her, and ought to have just walked this out in a way that wouldn't have ended up embarrassing the lady the way he did. I mean, after this now, if the lady decides that she doesn't want to be a Christian again now, how does that help the church? I mean, things like this can make people just say they don't want to be a part of the body of Christ anymore. They don't want to look up to any. I mean, it can lead to so many things. If you go to NOUN University's official website, they refer to their law degree as LLB, not BSc. It's LLB. And yes, she ought to have known. If you're studying something for 5 years, you really ought to have known. Anyim Vera, take the blame there. You ought to have known. And Pastor Paul Enenche, you also ought to have known that that's not the best way to react. Even if she was wrong, Pastor Paul Enenche, I don't think you ought to have responded the way you did. I don't think you ought to have shamed her the way you did. No. So now that we've identified where the pastor went wrong and where this lady went wrong, brings me to the conclusion of what education has become. In the 1960s, in all honesty, people who studied law were the most fluent, were the most eloquent, were the most intelligent people when it comes to public speaking. If this is what we get now as fresh law graduates, then there's a problem. This is an indictment on the school, the law profession, and Nigerian educational system. If this is what we produce, if this is the kind of graduates we produce, then we need to really sit down and address what has become of our educational sector, especially the law profession. That means we're not going to be getting justice in court if this is what law is all about now. My recommendation, I think Pastor Paul Enenche should get in touch with this woman, get her back again, and have a conversation with her. Cheer up, just boost her. Whatever she's lost mentally, just help her out to regain it. Pastor Paul Enenche, I think you should get in touch with the woman, and as a leader, just apologize to her. Yes, sir. Please, sir. Apologize to her. It will do a lot to her person, to her mind, because at the end of the day, it has turned out that she was actually saying the truth. She went to the school, she graduated, she studied law, and she graduated. There is evidence. So please get in touch with her and apologize to her. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. I love you, sir. Goodbye. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Nave Harrison TV. I'll see you around. Bye.